Hey guys, welcome back to The Horror with your hostess with the mostest, Annabelle, as always. Welcome back. So we are going straight into another Friday the 13th movie for my Friday the 13th franchise review. Now we are coming up on our crossover movie, Freddy Vs Jason, which came out in 2003, directed by Ronnie Yu, who also directed Bride of Chucky a few years before this. So this one, huge hype around it. This is the movie that we had been waiting for since pretty much 1984 when Nightmare on Elm Street first came out. Everyone wanted to see this movie. Everyone wanted to see Jason versus Freddy. It was like the big deal and everything. We were finally getting it. There was a lot of hype. I think a lot of people, when they first saw it, was like, oh my God, that's awesome. But to be honest with you, this movie has not aged well, in my opinion. I know that there are people out there who genuinely do love this movie, who adore this movie. I respect that. I respect the hell out of it. You guys know how I am. If you guys enjoy something that I don't, and vice versa, that is awesome. I am not even gonna bash you for it, whatever. You have every right to like whatever movies you like. And once again, if we all like the same movies, doing this would be completely boring, and I probably would not even be doing this. But with that being said, I'll be honest, I am not sugarcoating this review at all. So here we go. So like I said, this came out in 2003, directed by Ronnie Yu. And this actually stars Monica Keena, who I know was in the remake of Night of the Demons. This also has Catherine Isabel, who has been in quite a number of horror movies, Ginger Snaps, American Mary, quite a few things, terrific little horror icon, little horror mistress and everything. Really enjoy her. We also have Kelly Rowland from Destiny's Child. Yeah, I know. Robert Englund obviously is in this. And then for Jason, what do you know? New Line decided to recast Kane Hodder and go with Ken Kersner. Ken Kersner, I mean, I'm not even going to bash him. He did a fantastic job in Freddy vs. Jason. I think he did really well. But honestly, they blew it on this because they really should have had Kane Hodder. That, I feel like, is what most people wanted in a Freddy vs. Jason, was to have Robert Englund versus Kane Hodder. And once again, no disrespect to any of the other Jasons that had come before Kane Hodder. But, I'm sorry, guy was in 4 Friday the 13th movies. He basically, I was going to say, I don't want to ruffle any feathers, but in a way, really cemented his place in the Friday the 13th franchise and everything. So it is just a real shame that we did not get that. I don't know, maybe if they do a Victor Crowley versus Freddy or something, or versus Jason, maybe we'll actually finally get that. I don't even know, but knowing our luck, they would probably still recast Master Victor Crowley. I'm just saying. So yeah, so this one, like I've said, I don't feel like this has really stood the test of time. It just I feel like it had a ton of different, potentially good, moments or, storylines that could have really been used, but they really just fell short on everything. For example, Jason is suddenly terrified of water. That's his fear. He has never been fearful of the water. It would make sense considering that Jason had drowned as a little kid. And then in some of the sequels, he essentially drowned again because they're trying to kill him. It would make sense for him to, be afraid of the water. But after how many of these now? What is this, the 11th one? Why? I just don't understand. I don't even know. but it's just, it's a shame that, whatever though. And then also too, like, obviously this is the second, or no, third, sort of Friday the 13th, under New Line and everything. So we don't really get as much of a backstory with Jason. Like, I know towards the end of the movie, last like third of the movie or whatever, we get a little bit of a flashback slash dream from Jason and Monica Kia's character, where they're both like kind of juiced up, they're kind of drugged up and everything, and you sort of see like the day that he drowned and everything, Jason drowned. First time that we really have ever been able to see that moment of when Jason drowned. I give this movie props for that. And I know that even at one point they were trying to maybe connect Jason and Freddy, like their storylines and everything a little bit. And I know one of the things that they were thinking about was that Freddy killed Jason when he was a kid and everything, and trying to explain that Freddy possibly maybe had molested Jason as a kid or something, but they ended up not using any of that, which I think they should have maybe used some sort of aspect of that to really kind of connect their stories together, other than just everyone kind of forgot about Freddy, so he's using Jason because he knows about Jason somehow. I don't know. I don't understand. Like, how does Freddy even know about Jason? It's not like they live in the same state or kill in the same state. Like, I don't get it. It's. I think a big problem with that, a lot of this movie, is Ronnie Yu himself. I'm not like discrediting him as like a director or anything by any means, but he even admitted that when he was directing this, he had not seen a single movie from either franchise. And I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. But you know what? If you are going to be directing a movie that fans were waiting for very patiently for almost 20 years, you better have seen every single movie in both franchises. I'm just saying. And that's really a shame. I mean, even if it was someone who had maybe seen one of the franchises, okay, maybe I could see that, but you really needed someone who had seen both franchises, not maybe necessarily a fan of either of one or the other. I mean, that's fine if someone had seen both franchises, but was more of a Jason person or more of a Freddy person. Cool beans, whatever. Like, that's okay. But you needed someone who had seen both franchises to really make this movie work, because it's a big old heaping pile of shits. It is. I don't care, YouTube, because you're taking away my money, so I don't care if I am swearing in these videos. So I'm just saying. But anyway, but no, I think that's a huge issue with this movie is, you have a director who didn't see either one of these, but is so, I think it might have been Bob Shea, who is really kind of like, hey, let's get this guy, or like our New Line was like really kind of gung-ho on this guy, and it's like, well, wait a second. The guy hasn't even seen the freaking franchise that you guys freaking created. Why would you think this is a good idea? But yeah. And also too, since this is, under New Line, obviously, when they were, kind of introducing the characters, Freddy and Jason, they obviously showed clips from previous Nightmare on Elm Street movies, because they have the rights. Friday the 13th, they didn't, because obviously rights issues and everything, and ownership. The rest were still under Paramount and everything. So, but even with that, even if they couldn't get like the rights or anything, they could have at least introduced Jason a little bit more. I know that this is only 2 years after Jason X, so, Jason's a little more fresh in people's minds. But if you're just going off of Jason X alone, that's not a very good rep, representation. Wow, I had difficulty with that word for some reason. But no, it's not a good representation of Jason and the Friday franchise. It really isn't. I mean, I think they could have like worked that in a little bit better. And with this, and with that being said, too, like both of these characters really were kind of almost reintroductions to a newer audience. Because I mean, obviously, this came, like I said, this came out in 2003. Even with like a Jason X movie 2 years before this, when you think about it, both of the franchises really wrapped up 10 years and 12 years before this movie came out. So 91, we had Freddy's Dead, and in 1993, we had Jason Goes to Hell. So really, these franchises had been kind of gone for a while and everything. So you have to kind of reintroduce Jason and Freddy. So it'd be kind of, it's understandable to have like the kids of Elm Street now in that universe to not know who, really either one. Number one, they wouldn't know who Jason is because Crystal Lake obviously is nowhere near. But I feel like they're kind of almost close enough because Ohio and maybe not so much New Jersey. I feel like they're almost just close enough where they may have heard of like tidbits of news of like what happened at Crystal Lake and everything, but obviously not enough to like remember any of that. It's just kind of like, oh, whatever. And Freddy, obviously, who the parents pretty much have censored the kids from Freddy, blocked a ton of stuff out from like newspapers, obituaries, and everything, like chunks and chunks of stuff that are just blacked out, anything to do with Freddy. And then plus on top of that, we do have a little bit of a connection to Nightmare Part 3. I know there's a couple of like more sort of like tie-ins with both franchises. They tried to kind of tie both franchises together. But one obvious one is a reference to Part 3 Dream Warriors with both the Hypnosil and Weston Hills. The Hypnosil obviously was introduced in Part 3 to really kind of, help the kids, like, and Nancy to like, suppress the dreams. This is still being distributed at Weston Hills, present day when this movie was made and everything. And, it's interesting because, like, the kids kind of looked up the Hypnosil and everything to kind of see what it's all about, because they're taking these medicines, but they have no idea what it's doing while they're taking it. Come to find out, it is to suppress their dreams so they will not dream. Hence, you will not have a Freddy Krueger coming after you. A Freddy Krueger. Yeah, I just said a Freddy Krueger. So that's kind of cool. And plus, too, like I said, the little Weston Hills is part of it and everything. And something that cracks me up, though, is that, like, it's like they're looking up the Hypnosil and like, oh, it's not even like FDA approved. It's like, it wasn't FDA approved back when Nancy was taking it. Like, what the fun gooey? Like, get that crap FDA approved. I'm just saying. But there's just, I feel like there's just so many things, that they could have really done with this franchise, but they really just kind of like blew it. I feel it's a lot of just, they did a lot of things, and it just, you can tell they're trying to do it towards, or cater it towards one franchise or another. Like Freddy kind of doing these big old like karate chops in Jason's dream and everything, and it's just like, okay, I get it. Like, I know it's his world and everything, but karate chops, really? I get it's a dream, but come on, dude. Freddy is much more sophisticated than that. I'm just saying. But by the way, Freddy only gets one kill in this. The kid Mark is the only one who gets killed by Freddy. So they did kind of try to stay true to like body count versus body count, because we all know like Freddy, especially with like as the franchise went on, it was not as much about the body count as it was like the dream sequence, the psychological aspect and everything, as of where Jason really was more of like the body count and everything and just kill, kill, kill. So they did try to, they did kind of stay true to that and everything. And also too, like Mrs. Voorhees. And now I get that Mrs. Voorhees, pretty much every time we see her, it's basically just Freddy disguising himself as Mrs. Voorhees. It's another thing that I give it credit for, this movie credit for, because really trying to play off of that like psychological factor with Freddy. So she really kind of comes off as like the total and utter bitch. I know they were trying to get Betsy Palmer to come down, shoot a few scenes. I'm glad she didn't. I'm really glad she did not take part in this movie, because this movie is a total and complete piece of shit. I'm just saying, yeah, this is how much I love you guys and how much like I, want to do these reviews and stuff for you. I watched this movie and I hate it. Hate it. Once again, I mean, if you guys really like this movie, I'm sorry. I can't stand it. I give you props for liking it, but whatever. So yeah, with Freddy, more of like the backstory and stuff, I feel like there's more of they were trying to really give it more of a connection / backstory with Freddy, because once again, New Line, their own franchise, their homegrown franchise, but you really kind of can tell that they were trying to make more of a connection between Freddy and Laurie, Monica Kena's character, to kind of give more of a reason why Freddy would be after her and everything. The thing, though, that really kind of like, I should say one of the things that really kind of just irks me about that is that Freddy killed Laurie's mother, which I know he did technically kill Nancy's mom in the first one, but that was so different because, he was kind of really traumatizing Nancy and everything in the first one, and kind of got through to her mom through Nancy. This one, though, he just was going after Laurie's mom, who at this point, it's pretty safe to say that none of the parents now are even associated with Jason or Freddy's killing or anything, because he killed all of the kids and stuff in like part 5, and then part 6, obviously he said, oh, there's no more kids over here, so I gotta go find more kids throughout the world. So that's just so inconsistent. Once again, you have a director who hadn't seen any of these movies, so yeah, I'm sorry, he was not qualified to do this. I'm sorry, I'm gonna bash Ronnie Yu for this. I'm blaming Ronnie Yu, I'm blaming New Line for giving us such a god-awful crossover movie. I'm just saying. I don't know why I'm so hostile against this one. I am sorry, you guys. But yeah, it just, it kind of was weird. And also when we're having like that flashback of Freddy killing her mom, Laurie's mom, he makes a crack, which I'm like, once again, continuity issue right here. He's like, oh, I've always had a thing with the horrors that lived in this house. You killed like one person in that house, which was Nancy's mom. And unless if there's something we don't know about Nancy's mom, neither Nancy or her mother was a whore. Nancy's mom was drunk. And Nancy was an insomniac, okay? Big difference. Huge. But it just, things like that were just like, with the rest of the series, this is New Line's character. You would think that they would have an idea of what the franchise was like. Make at least one of these characters a little more, like, continuity's sake, you know, make them more like to the actual freaking franchise. I'm just saying, I would get it with Jason because he's not your homegrown franchise. Whatever. Um, but no, it's just, you know, I just, God. And you know, all these characters, I know like all these characters have at least, I shouldn't say all of them. Freebird doesn't really have much backstory. He's just the stoner. You got Lieberman, who's the nerd. I don't even know why he's hanging around them because they treat him like shit. They don't like him. He just wants to get in Lori's pants. That ain't gonna happen. You know, but we get a little bit of a backstory for Lori. Virtually none on Gib and Kia. We get a little bit of one for Lori's boyfriend. We know he's over with his buddy Mark over in Weston Hills. But other than that, I mean, even like the backstories that we have are very truncated. They're just very rushed. Literally, for waiting for almost 20 years for this movie, we should have had an awesome, awesome movie, storyline and stuff. Maybe a couple of hiccups, you know, whatever, but it just failed miserably, in my opinion. And like I said, that my opinion, God, this movie, I can't stand this movie. I really can't. I really can't. But anyway, guys, that's my thoughts on Freddy vs. Jason. Let me know what you guys think of this movie. Like I said, if you love this movie, if you do enjoy this movie, let me know. I would love to hear your thoughts on it. You know, who knows? Maybe something that you enjoy about this movie. Maybe I'll kind of like be like, I could see that. Or if you're like me and absolutely hate this movie, let me know. Do you guys think that this movie has aged well over the years? Let me know. And I want to know too, you guys, because in my opinion, I think we need to do a Freddy versus Jason redo. Not a remake or anything, a total and complete redo as if the first one never freaking happened. Let me know what you guys think on that. If so, I think we need to make it happen and do it the right way. Just saying. But till next time, you guys, as always, stay creepy, classy, and a little bit sassy.